We just got a huge update on Starfield's performance, and it turns out the gameplay we've seen so far is worse than the actual gameplay the reviewers are playing. Todd Howard actually gave Digital Foundry special permission to talk about this before the NDA even lifts. Let's give it a watch.
So every time they've shown Starfield, obviously, there's been this thing where the footage doesn't look smooth. We've talked about this before. The trailers have a lot of jitter, and we're like, is there performance problems? The answer is no. That is a problem with the trailers. The actual game does not have these problems.
Yeah. And Todd noticed it as well.
I also noticed it, so...
Yeah. So at this point, Starfield review code has gone out. It is under NDA, and it still will be under NDA by the time you watch this. But we received a special, I don't know, it's the equivalent of a papal dispensation.
That's right.
From Todd Howard.
We were given a waiver for this one issue.
Yeah, it basically doesn't look as jerky as it's looked in all of the footage so far. Certainly, we can certainly vouch for the intro mission because we've played that through, both of us, and we both concur that it doesn't really look... Well, it is a capture of the game, right? But the motion isn't right in the capture.
Yeah, and
it should be much smoother than that. So every time they've shown Starfield...
Now, it's actually quite wild to me that something like this could happen. I know sometimes when you're recording gameplay at 60 FPS, then you render it at like 25 FPS by accident, you can end up with some really like jittery sort of frame movements. I don't know if something like that happened when they pre-recorded the gameplay, but it just seems like a massive blunder. A lot of people saw that presentation and their takeaway was that they were a bit concerned about how the performance of the game would be when it came out. Understandably so. And there were even interviews where Todd Howard was asked questions about the frame rate, and he said that they are prepared to sacrifice 60 FPS to just go for graphical fidelity. So sometimes you'll get it running at 60 FPS, sometimes it'll be 30. It doesn't really bother them. It's not important. And then when you look back at the gameplay, then you're even more worried because you think that's actually how the game looked. Now, for the record, I don't think Bethesda games are about FPS gameplay, but a lot of people do find that very important, and especially at least that you're having a smooth experience. So I'm actually now interested knowing that this was just a trailer thing, how the game actually runs. I mean, I've got loads of friends playing the game and they've told me performance overall seems to be pretty damn good. So we'll see how it actually is when we get to play it ourselves. But overall, I'd say this is good news for Starfield, and I'm glad that it was clarified.